Hi everyone. Hello, this is Storytime with Checkers and Jingle here. So, as you guys see from the title, unfortunately, my relationship with my boyfriend Rohan is not doing too good, and I will tell you guys about the red flags I've been noticing. So, I've been getting a lot of red flags during the relationship, and I will tell you the first one. The first one is lack of communication. So, in other words, not just with me, but with Rohan too. For me, it was once, but with Rohan, it was twice. So the first time was okay, so he brought pizza from a different pizzeria. It was Indian pizza, something that I really didn't like and something I didn't agree on. And what happened was Rohan, he forgot to ask me. He forgot to ask about where to get the pizza at, and I was really disappointed, like really, really disappointed for that. And I should have used better communication too, like letting him know what I like and dislike. But like I said, it was new to us, being in this relationship. Now, the second time there was a lack of communication was we were at Panera Bread last month, my mom and I and Rohan. We were getting dinner on the go because we were going to see the tree lighting. And what happened was Rohan, he told the cashier he wanted the food for here because he thought that me and my mom and him that we were gonna eat at the restaurant. But my mom and I, we had to remind Rohan. I'm like, oh, Rohan. I was like, no, no, Rohan, we're gonna be taking our dinner to go because I told him that because the tree lighting starts soon. And Rohan didn't understand, so I told him, I had to give him some criticism, but not mean one, just a constructive criticism. So I had to tell Rohan the next time when he's unsure of something, he needs to ask. That's why it's important to speak up. That's why I told him, and I told him if he has questions, he could either ask me or my mother. And another thing, the second red flag I wanted to talk about is, well, Rohan, he wanted to go to Christmas in the park, but my mom and I, we were like, that's not part of the schedule, not part of the plan, because my mom and I, we worked hard on making the plan on getting dinner at Panera and of course bringing it on the go and going to the tree lighting, and then after the tree lighting, we go see Christmas lights including Blue Bonnet, and of course dropping him off at his house. So I've been noticing a lot with my relationship, with Rohan. Like I told him, that we need to stick with the schedule. Like I told him I know how much he wants to go to Christmas in the park, but I told him, that we have to stick with the plan and of course accept the schedule too. Now, the third red flag I also want to talk about is last year, he blocked me on social media. He blocked me on Facebook and Messenger for no apparent reason. And then he said that he didn't want to go out with me just because he wanted to go out with he wanted to go out with Crystal, either the teacher's aide or a friend of his. Like he wanted to go out with somebody, but he couldn't. And what happened was he said that he didn't want to go out with me, and then he blocked me for no apparent reason, which it made me feel really upset, and I was so heartbroken. I was so hurt from what Rohan did to me. My mom helped too. She told Rohan that this was not okay and that next time he needs to be respectful and to communicate. So that was a lack of communication and also no respect. So, in other words, I felt really hurt. So I was crying my eyes out and I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, Rohan blocked me for no reason. And then I told her that he said that he didn't want to, I said that he said that he didn't want to go with me. And I'm like, why the hell would he say something like that? Like, I told him, the next time I saw him, I told him like, hey, you don't block people like that just because you can't have your way. Like, I told him that's not how relationships work. And I told him that was not the right way. Now, the red flag I also want to talk about too, the fourth one I'm going to say is when he got a phone call from his friend. So he called his friend while we were having a dinner date outside. We were having pizza outside, and Rohan, he got his phone out. He got his phone out and talked to his friend, and I was starting to feel really sad. And my mom, she came to help, and she had to remind Rohan that this was not the right time to talk to a friend during a date. And I also had to speak up too. I had to tell Rohan. I said, "Hey, we don't talk on the phone during the date, to a friend because I told him that this is not okay and that this is bad table manners." And I also told him, that there's a time and a place for everything. I told him, of course, I don't mind if he talks to his family, but what I don't like is when he talks to his friends during the date because that's rude. And plus, that's also bad table manners. Now, another thing I also want to I want to talk about is when I said to Rohan that I love him, instead of saying love, he said that he liked me. And I was like, "Oh my god," and I was so shocked. My mom said that Rohan didn't know about relationships or love, and I was like, "Oh, I see now." So, in other words, that's what I realized the red flags, and I do feel really sad, about this, because like I said, Rohan and I, we've been together for 1 year. We've been together for 1 year, and we just had our anniversary last year because we started dating on September 1st of 2023. And of course, we had a lot of fun together, like a lot of fun memories. And of course, we had a lot of times, where we go to the cafeteria and eat lunch, have a talk, stuff like that. But sadly, my relationship with Rohan, it's just not going too good. And I've been feeling really sad and miserable and not too happy. So I did talk with my mother about it, and I have like two options. Either one, I have to speak up with Rohan, or two, I just have to break up with him because I really want to be in a happy, healthy relationship with a guy who I love the most and a guy who loves me for who I am. But unfortunately, my relationship with Rohan's been falling apart. In other words, not doing too good with the red flags, not to mention the lack of communication and of course everything else. Like I still felt really hurt last year when he decided to block me for no apparent reason just because he wanted to go out with just because he couldn't go out with Crystal, who was either a friend or a teacher's aide. Like I'm not sure why, but anyways, I am gonna talk with my CSS worker tomorrow to see what the solution is to my problem because like I said, I just been feeling really sad and really, really hurt. And of course I just felt like, my relationship with Rohan's not doing too good. So I'll keep you guys updated on what I talked about with CSS and what I'm gonna do with the solutions to my problem. So yeah, so that's all I have to say. It's story time with Checkers and Jingle signing off. Bye guys.